right. Business of the City Council. Councilmember Cleveland.
As I mentioned at the last meeting, we did have the Regional Housing Authority meeting right the next day from then, and there were 3 graduates from the Financial Self-Sufficiency, they call it FSS, of course, and that became completely independent from all government assistance, and they're out there on their own. We're going to be trying to expand and encourage that program even more. We hope to be able to I think it'd be fantastic to move out 50 people a year or 50 families a year. That would be a goal, but we're at about 25 right now. So I think that's fantastic, helping them a hand up instead of just a handout. Other than that, I just had various meetings with Yuba City citizens and businesses in the community, expressing their ideas, concerns. And I was gone for a week visiting my son out of states and family, so that's a short week.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Didball.
And the interesting thing is all the commissions and boards actually canceled the last 2 weeks. So I think they're prepping for holidays already. So SASA was canceled, as well as transit meeting. And then the rest of the week was pretty slow. We had the Binational Health Fair. And the rest of the time I was attending seminars and conferences throughout California. So.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Gill.
Yeah, we did have the Yuba City Flood Agency meeting, and they're buttoning down the hatches per se. All the work that's going to be done for this year has been kind of done. So they're looking at some work coming for next year. So I know we keep talking about it, we keep being the dead horse, but I think we'll be ready for El Nino this time around. We do have a delegation from our sister city coming here from Japan, so kids always love the Halloween holiday area. For them, I think that's ideal, so we're looking forward to that. Other than that, that's all I've got.
All right, Councilmember Buckman.
Much like Councilmember Didball, a couple of my committee meetings were canceled, but I did attend the SACOG Government Relations and Public Affairs Committee meeting yesterday down in Sacramento. One of the interesting things that came out of that was we're looking at regionally being able to contract for some HR services on a regional basis, that each one of the agencies can go to that contractor and get certain things like whether it be salary surveys, constantly updated, not having to work through that. But just a number of HR services that are coming about. So we're trying to finalize that and then put that out to the rest of the SACOG board to see if they're interested in backing that. And that's a no cost to SACOG itself. Each one of the agencies participating would be responsible for funding those services. Also looked at some of our transportation funding recommendations. Currently, we only have in some of the transportation funding, which is limited this year, we only have 2 tiers of funding, and generally the second tier is funded by non-compliant programs, or somebody doesn't spend their money. And I'm trying to get the whole funding cycle into a third tier also, that can be a rollover tier that allows us to try to cycle into that money over a period of time. So maybe we can move our Fifth Street project forward with those type of funds. Seem to be very receptive to that, so we're going to try to work through some of those details. Also, the Region Rising Conference is coming up on November the 20th. This is an all-day conference down at the Convention Center in Sacramento. Each one of the council members are invited to come to that. All you need to do is simply call down and RSVP. But I also am allowed to bring 4 members of the community along. This is an all-day event. I'll buy you lunch. Actually, the conference is going to buy you lunch. But if you're interested, or anyone's interested in coming down to that, I'll be going down. I'll be there all day. You're certainly more than welcome to ride down there with me. The city pays for part of my gasoline to do that. So come on down, and I have room for 4 people. I just need to know names, and be happy to take them to that conference.
Does that include hotel chicken?
I'm not sure. It's a number of chefs in the area. Lunch is going to be served on the west. I believe it's the east lawn of the Capitol building. So I don't know what'll be there. Maybe chicken from right here in Yuba City. So
All right, thank you. All right, number of things. Attended the GSAC board meeting last Tuesday. Had an update on the goal to reach out to 300 of the top businesses in the Bay Area and build a case as to why those businesses need to relocate into the Sacramento region. And they've currently had 48 meetings. Their goal was to have 100 a month, which was pretty aggressive. So to get 48 of them done was good, but they're still working at the rest of those. Attended the Sutter Butte Flood Control Agency meeting last Wednesday. And one of the items on the agenda last week was a discussion of the 5-year strategic plan of where do we go from here. And so over the next few months, we will be putting the meat on the bones of what that's going to look like and what Sutter Butte's Flood Control Agency will look like in the future, if it exists at all. So, and then attended last Friday the U.S. Naturalization and Citizenship program here at the Veterans Hall, where we had 55 new citizens sworn in, and congratulated them for becoming citizens of the greatest country on earth, and applauded their efforts of coming here legally and going through the process to become citizens. And then a couple upcoming events. The council member Gill mentioned the sister city. I believe they arrive on the 28th. Probably around 4 o'clock is usually when it is. So if you can be here to welcome the delegation from Toride, Japan, that would be wonderful. And then this coming Friday night is the annual Mayor's Cup. It's going to be held at Yuba City High School. It's between River Valley and Yuba City High School. It's always a lot of fun to see who's going to pull it out this year. So please plan on attending that. Let's fill up the bleachers and root on our favorite team. So with that, meeting is adjourned.